Hi guys, and welcome to another speaker comparison. Woo! And look where I'm standing, near the ocean to Denmark, I guess. And with me I have I love seagulls. They're wonderful. Well, anyhow, and today I got three speakers with me: my new Sony XB-43, the JBL Xteme 3, and the Teufel Rockster Cross. I will be playing with my custom EQ on the Sony XB-43, and the JBL Xteme 3 also got an update with a custom EQ, but I won't use that in today's video because it doesn't affect louder volumes, or at least has not that big of a difference, and it's not worth it to have the EQ on. In my personal experience, it doesn't sound better, or yeah, it sounds a little bit worse even. So for lower volumes, I will show you in another video with these three speakers how that sounds with the Xteme 3 EQ, but not in today's. And the Teufel Rockster is playing with its outdoor mode, or whatever you want to call it, to get some extra treble boost. And of course this is a maximum volume test, so hold on to your hats and the XB-43 will begin. The Teufel Rockster Cross. XB-43. Teufel Rockster. XB-43. Teufel Rockster Cross. Teufel. Sorry for the wind. XB-43. and now I will get back to you soon. I'm getting frostbite on my hand that I'm holding my phone with, so I'm gonna grab a glove and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gloved up and there's a lot of wind I can see, but I'm near the ocean, so what do I expect, right? But hopefully you guys could hear something from that comparison. But in general, when comparing the Teufel to the Sony XB-43, you could certainly hear that the Teufel was a lot louder. I mean significantly louder compared to the Sony. It had more bass, more clarity, and as I will show in this next song, it also has better dispersion than the Sony. The Sony sounds quite close, but when I stood right in front of the speakers, even though the Sony had some distortion, I like the Sony sound signature quite a lot, because it's a really warm sound, even though it's not nothing like extraordinary. It's not that high resolution or anything like that. Warm sounds I tend to favor them because they are they are easier to listen to for longer periods of times. Unless, for example, the JBL Xteme 3 has kind of harsh sound, so I can't listen to it for long periods of time at higher volumes, while the Sony is no problem. And the Teufel has also harsh sound at some volumes, but in general it's pretty well balanced, but with compression. The Sony has compression as well, but it's also distorted, and that's not nice. But in general, I love the sound signature and the light show as well. It's really, I mean, it's entertaining, especially at night. You can actually light up. It's pretty much a candle. Not really that strong of a light, but you can actually see it even in the daytime. Maybe not in the summer times and the sun is shining right on top of the speakers, but as you can see here, it's like medium light. It's still the sun is still up, even though it's getting dark, and you can still see the lights. So okay, still compare the Sony to the Teufel, but I'm gonna show you guys the dispersion. Step back a little bit, and the Sony's playing now. Yeah. Teufel. Sony. Teufel. Sony. And let's go to the side so I can show the dispersion as well. Still Sony playing. Teufel playing. And even though the Xteme 3 is covering up one of the tweeters, it's still plenty loud, and this dispersion is way better. Sony. Yeah, Sony's not that loud now off axis, and it doesn't sound that great. But of course it got that great signature sound, in my opinion, that warm sound when standing in front of it. Although with distortion, as I said. Teufel. Sony. Okay, and that was my comparison for the Teufel and the Sony. And now I will switch it up to the Sony against the JBL Xteme 3. I won't be comparing the Xteme 3 to the Teufel in this video, even though this is a pretty cool environment. Because I've already done that comparison. So go and watch my other video on that if you want to see the Teufel against the JBL Xteme 3. But in general, here I can draw the conclusion from the Teufel and the Sony that the Teufel is still better than the Sony outdoors, I would say. Just because of the sheer amount of loudness you get and the better dispersion. Even if the JBL was covering it up a little bit when I tried to show the dispersion. It was still better than the Sony, just because of the loudness and the angling of the tweeters and whatnot and the sound signature. But the Sony had advantages, and it's the light show and how it's formed in general makes. Oh, look at that, a swan. It sounds quite interesting actually when it flies that mass, like 30 kilograms flying. Well, I'm getting distracted here. The Sony has a warmer sound, as I've said many times before, which is more mids focused a little bit, and a lot of punchy bass. And bass-wise, I think it's just that the Teufel has more bass, but they have pretty much the same bass. And I will show you how the bass signature sounds indoors as well in another video, as I mentioned before, probably. Okay, let's begin with the Sony against the JBL Xteme 3. Oh, let's see. There it is. Perfect. Try to connect. Oh, the JBL Xteme 3 shut off. That's not good. Frozen hands. Trying to make a YouTube video. Stuffing nose. Nice. Okay, let's see here. And I will play Humanity, my best song. Let's see here. There we are. Sony.
It's all about humanity.
JBL. Sony.
It's all about humanity.
JBL. I'm gonna go back even further. Let's see here. Sony. JBL.
It's all about humanity.
Sony.
It's all about humanity.
Okay, let's begin to the next song, and I will try to show the spread of the sound. I like how my screen just turned blue for some reason. Maybe it's too cold actually for my phone. Who knows? Let's see here. JBL playing. Sony. And as we can see here once more, this is one of the places where the Sony struggles quite a bit with the sound off axis. JBL playing. Sony. JBL. That was it when it came to the sound comparison. Oh god, my nose is very runny right now. Interesting. Okay, so let's just do a short summary so I can get out of here and not freeze to death. It's like probably -4°C, something like that. Really cold, with other words, or at least for me. I'm not used to these temperatures too often. And for long periods of times, but yeah. Okay, let's see here. Against Teufel, downsides, as I've said before, was loudness and spread of sound. The other disadvantages are the size. Even though they seem to be just as big, the Sony XB-43 is heavier. It's 500 grams heavier than the Teufel. It weighs 3 kilos, the Teufel weighs 2.5 kilos. And you can feel that. And it's really compact. The Sony is also totally waterproof. The Teufel is only rainproof, or whatever that means. IPX5 water resistant. This is IPX7. The Sony charges via USB-C. The Teufel doesn't. And the Teufel has a wrist strap. The Sony doesn't. So transporting these speakers, I can just say right away, transporting them here right now, the Teufel was way easier, no doubt about it, than the XB-43. It was really a hassle to bring. You could either bring a medium-sized backpack or have it in a, I don't know, in a on a bicycle somehow strapped to it. So when comparing these two, I would take the Teufel. But the sound signature and the lights might actually be good for like an outdoor party in the summer times or whatever, when it's a little bit dark outside. You can still get a nice sound on axis, but not off axis. Comparing it to the JBL Xtreme 3, I would say that the sound is way nicer when standing front at maximum volume with my personal EQ used on the Sony XB-43. Just because this JBL sounds way too harsh. It sounds louder, yes, but not significantly louder, but noticeably louder. But it sounds harsh. It sounds really harsh, and maybe you can tune it down somewhat in the EQ, but then you get less loudness, but a worse sounding sound in general, just because of the mids and the bass. You can feel some deep bass when I stood here on axis of the JBL, and the JBL did certainly sound a lot nicer off axis, even compared to the Sony. But on axis, the Sony sounds better, much more nicer sound. And with that fuller bass that I've talked about that the JBL doesn't have, it has deep bass, but it doesn't have upper bass. The Sony gives more of a Teufel bass, not as much bass though. Which means that you get a full experience and a warm sound and a welcoming sound, and that's really nice to listen to. But then again, the JBL has a better sound spread than the Sony, and it has a shoulder strap, and it weighs 2 kilos, and it can float. The Sony doesn't have any of those features, and they're both waterproof, of course. So that's it between those. But then again, comparing these two, are you willing to pay twice as much for the JBL? Because for me personally, I actually paid twice as much for the JBL than the Sony XB-43, and that's really unfortunate, I think, because the Sony has its advantages, even though you can see that the JBL is a more I don't know, a little bit more sophisticated product right now, I feel, still. And in my in-order review, I will go over some of the nicks and features that I like about the Sony and I don't like about it, because there are some minor details that I think JBL got right. And if Sony gets those things right with that new sound signatures of theirs, with some more bass or something, I think they can go a long way from this with their new sound. But JBL, no slouch at all, of course, but it is a harsh sound. Teufel is Teufel, they're doing their own thing with their speakers. Really nice package in general. So it's up to you what you're after: waterproofing, portability, or have a nice light show at home or anything like that. But I would say that in my ranking for portable outdoor use, I would rank the JBL or the Teufel Rockster #1 easily, the JBL #2, and the Sony #3. And that's a 3 by it isn't portable. That's my main problem with the Sony. Sound signature wise, it's nice though. You could debate that the JBL is easier to transport and a little bit more rugged than the Teufel, and that might fit some more people than others, but I think the sound and the package that Teufel comes in is just better than the JBL, even though it might be more rugged and has USB-C charging. So that's all for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And holy shit, it's actually quite dark. And I like how my phone like regulates everything with the gets blue and it gets green. Kind of funny. It doesn't know how to adjust the processing of what it sees. So thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you can have a nice day and yeah, nice life, I guess. That got awfully deep. Well, thank you for watching, and bye bye.